remix your mind. QBrein. Hello everyone and welcome to episode 3 of QBrein. I want to thank you for joining us on this, the 28th day of May 2015. Now before we get into brain maintenance, which is the third video, the third installment of the QBrein program, I want to talk to you a little bit about a few things. One of them being that while you're doing QBrein, I want you to be very aware of how you feel. It's critical that you are in touch with how you feel, because once you start to feel fatigued, once you start to feel tired, you must stop. You must stop until you don't feel that way. Usually it takes about a day to recover. The reason I say that is because the same thing with any athlete who's performing and working really hard, there's a risk of injury. Now, I believe it's the same way with the brain. If you overwork your brain, there's a risk of injury. They have numerous things like strokes and aneurysms, and there's a number of things that can really hurt you. Also, don't do it in extreme environments like extreme heat. That can really hurt you. It's kind of like a computer where the fan is no longer working and it overheats. This is possible with you in your training. So keep in mind how you feel. Keep in mind to always rest, which is tip number 3 and the subject of this episode. Brain maintenance. Brain maintenance. So there are many different ways to maintain your brain as you're doing your training. Keeping your brain cool is vital. And as I was saying with the example of the computer fan before, your respiratory system functions as a cooling system as well. So yoga, meditation, and breathing exercises are vital and key to keeping your brain cool. I really suggest yoga myself. I do yoga, I do brain meditation and breathing exercises. This really helps me to keep my brain cool and to sort of flush the negative energies that I feel. Yoga is great. So really do that. Another thing, brain food. There's a lot of different foods that help with mental function. So like in the first video, I showed a picture of a cauliflower. Well, it's no coincidence that a cauliflower and broccoli look a lot like the brain, because they actually help with brain function. There's a number of different things. If you drink coffee, that's good. It keeps you alert. Studies have shown that it actually may reduce the risk of Alzheimer's disease, so that's really good. If you drink coffee, just try not to overdo it. You don't want to be hyped up too much. When you do rapid math, you get hyped up at the end of that anyway. You feel hyped up because it speeds up your speed of it gets your speed of calculation up, and it just supercharges you. Trust me. If you do it for a week, you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. Aside from keeping the brain cool, you're going to need your rest. You're going to need to take at least one day off per week to rest your brain, to just basically veg out. At the high point when I was doing QBrein over the past, I would say, I guess maybe year and a half, at the high point of my training, I got to where I felt like I was really overthinking. It felt like I was almost losing control of the machine, in a way. My brain was getting away from me. And during this time, I decided to veg out for a while. Basically just sit and watch movies and really not try to analyze anything, and really just not try to think very much at all. It may seem counterintuitive, but most people veg out all the time. This is why their brain doesn't function very well. On the other hand, when you do the QBrein exercises, and especially when you get into some of the advanced concepts, which we'll be talking about in We'll start talking about it in the next video. You're going to really need to rest. Believe me, when you get to that point, you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. Training your brain is like any athletic program. It makes you tired. It gives you fatigue. Oftentimes, you feel bad. Um, my recommendation is the yoga breathing. Again, that will help you to uh, disperse some of the negative feelings you have. And again, I'm not a psychologist. I'm not a doctor. So all these recommendations I'm making, you really have to just feel your way through them and see how they make you feel. Because results will vary. With me, I'll tell you the truth, my IQ points were not all that high when I started this program. And I'm not a super smart guy uh, just by nature, by design. The training program has made me a lot smarter than I used to be. And I feel as though I can continue to get smarter. You will hit a barrier and you will plateau just like any athlete. But the trick is to continue to exercise and maintain your overall brain function at a high level. And it will really help with your job, with your school, with your personal creations, your creativity, your imagination. Yeah, so continue to do rapid math, Lumosity, finding games that have strategy. Now, the game storming and playing games, that's the first pillar of QBrein. There's another pillar of QBrein, and that's what we just discussed. It's brain maintenance and resting. If you do these two pillars, you will start to see huge differences. You will start to see massive differences in the way you think, the speed at which you think, the quality of ideas that come to you. And that's basically it. That's all I have to talk about right now. So in the next video, we're going to go ahead and get into some of the more advanced concepts of QBrein. And you'll start to see how you can really, really use that energy that you are creating using the two pillars and really focus them on your own life and your own activities. So for now, have yourselves a great week, and we'll see you tomorrow. Remix your mind. QBrein.